Good morning and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here today with Tinker and Brandy, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is your little girl's ability to understand and respond to her formal obedience commands. The little tiny correction and a lot of motivation that we give the dogs when we're working with them, and the training equipment that we're using. Brandy is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and she keeps the bulk of the leash folded neatly in her right hand. That leaves her left hand free to give any correction that's needed. And the only correction that we give is, like I said, a gentle tug and release on the training collar. And that is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Tinker's sitting very nicely at Brandy's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done. And the first exercise that we're going to demonstrate for you is heeling. Heeling is proper leash walking, and the command is Tinker heel. Now at this point, Tinker has a job to do, and that is to maintain pace with you when you're walking with her, not forging ahead or lagging behind. And each time that Brandy stops her feet, you can see that Tinker sits automatically without being told to wait for her next command. So when you're walking in town with her, she should be a lady. She should be walking nicely next to you. And when you stop your feet, she sits automatically without being told. And the next command that Brandy's going to demonstrate is the sit stay. The stay is a hand and a voice command, and because it is a stationary exercise, it is a one-word command. You're going to lengthen out these sit stays from about 30 seconds to 1 minute, then up to 3 minutes. When Brandy returns back to her, she walks back around to her shoulders and she stops. And then she gives her her next command, which is the heel. And one of the most important commands is the heel command, and it may look simple, but it's not that easy to teach, and it's one of the things that people complain about the most, that my dog drags me and walks aren't fun anymore. And Brandy's going to leave her in another sit stay. Now, these stationary exercises help to develop self-control and focus. So practice them indoors as well as outdoors, and this time Brandy's going to call her. This is the come on command. This is always a happy command. She comes in, she sits right in front facing Brandy's knees, and then she goes back to heel. Very good. She is so cute. And she has come such a long way. She's not quite sure. She's very curious about this whole camera thing. Brandy's going to leave her in another sit stay. She turns to face her. She makes her hold that stay. And then she uses her name and calls her in, and she comes right in and sits, and she gets praised for a good job. Back to heel and back sitting. So if you speed up, if you're a power walker, she'll do the same. If you're walking slowly, talking to somebody, she should be walking slowly next to you. Now the next command that we're going to demonstrate is the down from a heel position. So with her seated at your left, you take your left open palm straight down toward the ground and give the one-word command to down and stay. Your long down stays, again, can be practiced right indoors. So you're going to start out in about a minute, and over the next couple of months, work up to 5 minutes. When Brandy returns back to her, she walks all the way around her, back to her shoulders. You see that Tinker remains seated or lying down until she gets her next command. So we try to make it fun for the puppies without going over the top, because if you get her too excited, then you have to feel confident that you can reel her back in. So praise is good, but too much praise can be tough if you're just starting out learning this stuff. This time Brandy's going to call her out of that down. And dogs typically will hold the down command better than they hold the sit command. They like laying down once they get the whole idea of it. And the very last command that we're going to demonstrate for you is the down from a distance. So you always have your dog seated before you attempt to put them into a down. Brandy leaves her in a sit stay. She's going to use her right hand to give the command and drop her into a down from a distance and tell her to stay. She kind of crawled in on that one, but you can certainly get the idea. This little lady has come a long way in the amount of time that we've had her, and we've enjoyed every minute of it. She is a sweetheart. She's got a ton of potential. She can go as far as you want to take her as far as obedience training. She's a sweetheart. We want to thank you for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company, and we will see you soon.